You're listening to Kicked Back, presented by Uber One. Uber One is a membership that lets you save across Uber Eats, Uber Rides, and everything in between. Enjoy unlimited $0 delivery fees, 5% off of Eats, 5% off of rides, and if you join Uber One today, you can get your first month free. Visit uber.com/Uber1 for details. Episode 24 of Kicked Back, presented by Uber One. What's going on, everyone? I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little hoarse this morning. I was traveling to Toronto. I think I caught a cold. It's not COVID, so it's all good.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I know I was about to say 6 feet, but we're all good. I promise it's not COVID. And here we are, because there's so much to talk about. Liam, how are you?
I am good. Yeah, when we obviously didn't plan to not do a show last week, but like, man, of course, the 1 week we don't do a show, like, it's the biggest weekend of football in a while. Multiple managers get sacked. One guy just decides to leave the field. Like, there's just a lot happening right now. Canada got 2 games coming up too. We were only expecting 1, so that was good to see. There, who was it? Bahrain, and then was it Japan? Yeah,
Japan. Well, Japan, I think, was already in the schedule, and then this new one got added, which is good because it gives us one more match to look forward to.
Yeah, it's. Do you know what I thought about immediately was when we spoke to Alistair Johnston, and he mentioned that when they picked Qatar and Uruguay, they weren't just like randomly picked out of a hat; they were picked strategically on like the way other teams play. So it makes me believe that these 2 teams were once again picked in that way. And I thought about it as they could probably get a better team than Bahrain, but also, you don't want to go in with it like a couple of losses, or you got to get a bit of confidence in you. Japan's a respectable team, so that'll be good. I'm glad to see him again. Yeah,
quickly on the note of Canada Soccer, when I was in Toronto, I interviewed Max Bell, who's the writer and the producer of the new We Can Canada Soccer documentary, and the first 2 episodes are out already. I've seen the first one, and it's just so cool, Liam, because you should 100% watch it. We should almost do a review on the entire docuseries when we've watched it all. But you kind of get this inside look of the team, and the only people narrating the documentary aside from just someone keeping the flow of the docuseries going is just John Herdman and the players.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of really cool to hear them talk. You learn a little bit about Alphonso Davies in that first episode, John Herdman talking inside the meeting room, and it's cool because when we spoke to Alistair Johnson, he said John Herdman's working so hard to give them all of these playbooks, and there's so many plays and acronyms and just extensive work that they've done on all of the teams. So to kind of see that little inside look of how John Herdman speaks to the players in a meeting, it's cool. I have chills watching it because I'm like, man,
you've seen the first 2?
The first one I have to watch the second one still. It's good.
Did you find, I know you mentioned the Herman stuff, but a lot of the stuff we spoke about with Johnson, did it feel like it connected a lot too?
Yeah, and I think that we're going to find out more as episodes come on. This first one, it was more so John talking to the group being like, this is the biggest tournament ever, and we're going. And just the way John asserts himself and I felt when I was watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go to the World Cup with this team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind
I wish I was good.
Right, I know, me too. But it's just if you feel that, imagine being them in that situation, hearing that, So it's a really good docuseries. And Max Bell had nothing but amazing things to say about John Herdman. So I'm really glad that Canada has almost another opportunity to warm up right before the World Cup. And yeah, everyone go check it out. I want to see what you think too.
Why do we watch? What can we watch?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's on Canada Soccer YouTube.
Oh,
so it's free.
Free.
It's free. Just head on over to the Canada Soccer YouTube page, and I think the first episode was 25 minutes. So super. Perfect. Yeah, it's the perfect time to just really be able to squeeze that into your schedule.
Right before dinner.
Yeah,
something's on the stove. Oh, I wonder what I can watch. Exactly. Did you see actually? I know we got a lot to get to, but somebody asked us about if we had watched Welcome to Wrexham as well yesterday.
I haven't seen that. Have you?
I haven't seen that yet either, but to that person, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, we have to get back to them.
I'm very curious. So Wrexham is a Welsh team that plays in the English football pyramid. They're not in the Football League anymore, but obviously Ryan Reynolds, and I can never remember the other guy's name, but he's the guy from Not Sunny with a Chance. That's a kid's show. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh. That's the one. What's his name? I can't remember. I'll look it up. Okay. But either way, I'm going to watch that one too. So to that person, I can't remember your name right now, and I'm sorry. We will watch it. He also offered me a cheeseburger next time I go to Bonneville. So.
Yeah, you're on a big burger stint, aren't you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, I do some hockey scouting stuff, and every time I go to a rink, I get a burger and I review it with no context. I just literally put it in a ranking.
I actually love that. Best burger so far?
The Grant Fuhr Arena in Spruce Grove.
Really?
Million miles. Yeah, It's going to be tough to beat.
Now, do you get
to
a
beat.
burger or a cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
Always.
Yeah, and do you know what plays into it? If you're listening, you own a little concession. Quickly, the value of the burger and the service. So I went to St. Albert the other day, and the burger was good. It wasn't amazing, but when I went back later on to get a Gatorade at the end of the game, so I got it in between the first and the second, the lady asked me how my burger was.
Oh.
And I was like, it was very good. Thank you.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Hey, anyone out there in customer service.
And now because you're talking about cheeseburgers, I don't know, like I'm someone who could eat a piece of pizza or a cheeseburger at any time of the day. Like I remember once when I was in the US traveling for work, there was Shake Shack at the airport. I believe it was in the New York airport. And it was, I'm not even kidding, 7:30 in the morning, and I got Shake Shack, which is like slightly a problem. But
you're on holiday.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. So I feel like we just need to right off the bat mention our Uber One partnership, and to mention that Uber One is the next generation of Uber Eats, the Uber Eats Pass. So now instead of just saving on food delivery with your Eats Pass, you have an Uber One membership that provides discounts on both Uber and Uber Eats and groceries. So Uber One is a membership to save on deliveries, groceries, rides, and more. $0 delivery fee, $5 off rides, $5 off eats. Sign up today. Join Liam and I in our Uber One journey. And now I just feel like, honestly, right now, straight up, right before we get into all the Cristiano Ronaldo drama, ordering me a nice cheeseburger.
Yeah, then you could review it with
Then I could review it with you. I feel like it's hard to give a cheeseburger. No, I've had a bad cheeseburger, but I feel like it's hard for pizza to be bad.
There is one, I won't call them out on the show, but if you check out my Twitter, number 5 on my list will be the worst one.
Okay.
It smelled.
Oh, no.
And not good.
No.
Not good.
Oh, no.
Rob McElhaney is the other Wrexham owner.
Okay.
So that's off our plate now,
Perfect.
too.
Okay, guys. Man, there's just such a shit show with Ronaldo, United. It's every single day at this point now. I was at the airport when I got the most recent drama of obviously him walking off the pitch. I'm like, this never ends. Which is great for football fans because it gives us something to talk about. Obviously not great for the parties involved, but right now United under Ten Hag have beaten the Spurs, Liverpool, and Arsenal this season, so that's pretty big. Yep. Obviously drama coming out of the Tottenham game. United won 2-0 and played maybe one of the best games, if not the best game they've played this season, and Ronaldo walked off the pitch before the game ended at Old Trafford. Liam, before I need to take a deep breath and get into how I feel, what do you think about all this?
I think it really takes away, like you said, from what Manchester United actually did. They were good. They were really, really good, and they beat a good Tottenham team who Conte said after in his post game said doesn't get up for these big games, and which is true. You look at it; they had a late winner against Chelsea. They lost to Arsenal. They've lost to United. On the United front, like you said again, they're winning these massive games, and I think it's a bit selfish of Ronaldo to do what he did. Like, there's no need for it, to be honest. Like, that, to me, emotions clearly took over, but I also think he knew exactly what he was doing. Like, I knew exactly it felt like he knew exactly what he was attempting to do, and he's a legend of the game, and it's just not a good look for him and young people watching, even young people on United as well. And it puts a separation between him and the manager and also the team. Like, guys are trying to play for Ten Hag now, and it's working. Like, the United are doing significantly better, minus the City result a few weeks ago too. But I just don't like it. It feels like it's putting too much separation between the good stuff that's happening at United and Ronaldo, who can be part of it.
Before I get into my question, just hearing you speak, do you think Ronaldo, at this point in time, with how much he's accomplished in his career, has almost that like right to be selfish and worry about where he stands right now in his career, being benched, warming up, and being told to sit back down, not getting those minutes, being taken out of a game that maybe he should have stayed in? Don't, like, in your opinion, do you think that he has that right to be like a little bit annoyed?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's fair. Like, I think anyone would be in that situation, especially someone of his magnitude and how much he's accomplished. But I just don't think it's fair to your teammates to do that. Because, again, you've taken away from the team success. You're putting it on yourself. And, like, he made that Instagram post too, and we kind of spoke about it a little bit. It's like, how real is that? And you just wonder like if he's in it anymore, and if he's
Yeah.
like he's dropped for the Chelsea game this weekend, and is he done? Like I think he's done with United. Like if I was Ten Hag and I saw that, I think you've almost gotta you gotta put a stop to it, really, haven't you? Like I don't know. Is he? I think he's gone in January, one way or another. I think he's gone. Yeah, like. And I don't know where he's going to go. Like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, like Napoli probably won't have the interest anymore. Like Chelsea now has a new manager and they're having success. He was linked there. Like there'll be somewhere for sure. But right now, like I really do believe like his Manchester United days are numbered if they weren't already numbered before.
Yeah. Okay, here's my take. And I took a couple of days when this all broke, I posted a video kind of telling everyone what's going on, but I removed my opinion about it because I'm like, I want to take a couple days to let the whole story unfold and to really understand how I feel. Mm-hmm. I do not agree with him walking off of the pitch. Bottom line, that is unacceptable. It can't happen. However, I don't think management is any better. Ronaldo wanted to leave in the summer. He was denied by the club. Ten Hag said that Ronaldo was in his plans to what? Become the number one bench player in the world. Ten Hag even went as far to say he didn't put Ronaldo into a game because he respects him so much. What the hell does that even mean? Mm-hmm. So right now at this point for Ronaldo, with everything that's happened, put yourself in his shoes. Imagine being him, because for us football fans, seeing some of this is wild. So I'm like, how could he possibly feel? And he's fighting for his career right before his last ever World Cup and ultimately his legacy, because that's what this has all come down to. And he's being villainized by the football community. And although I don't agree with every single thing Ronaldo has done, I definitely don't agree with this narrative, because this situation has no mutual respect. From Ronaldo and Ten Hag and management, there's no mutual respect. And that's why it's gone completely off the rails. To point your finger just solely at Ronaldo in this situation, I think is tough. And I don't think it's extremely necessary, because he wanted out and now he's kind of in like a United prison. And that's where I don't agree with Ronaldo, but I understand why he did it type thing. Because he's earned that right to feel pissed off. And if a coach is telling him numerous times, warm up and then sit back on the bench, like this isn't like a D2 player. This isn't like a tier 2 player. This guy's one of the greatest footballers to ever play the game. So his frustration, like I can't imagine. It's probably up there. I do agree with you, Liam. He's an emotional guy. He can't let his emotions get the best of him. He needs to be better. He needs to be a bigger and better example. With someone who has as much experience and impact like he does, it's not the best move. But at the end of the day, like, I think that's this weird alpha game between him and Ten Hag.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like, one of them, Ten Hag obviously has to be the alpha in this whole thing. Like, he is the manager of this massive club. And in a way, maybe he does need to knock Ronaldo down a couple of pegs to, like, get that relationship building again, but I think it's broken. I think the relationship's done. Like he's not playing him. Ronaldo doesn't seem to fit the style that Ten Hag wants to play. It feels like the best thing for both parties is just to move on. And I think for Manchester United's sake, in the sense of in a couple of years, hopefully people just forget about this and remember the good times of Ronaldo. But right now, like you said, legacy, like this is making it not great for him at United. Like this is like last year was a good homecoming. What do you have? 18 goals or whatever it was. Ballon d'Or nominee. And now I just look at here. It's 8 games played, 2 starts, 345 playing minutes, and 1 goal in the Premier League this season, and it was a penalty kick. So he hasn't scored from open play, but it's not like United players are really thriving at scoring goals. Like Rashford has 3. Martial has 2 in 3 games. That's pretty solid, obviously. But, like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting tale, because we all thought Ronaldo was going to have a big part of this team. Like you said, like, over the summer, there was all this talk about, like, Ronaldo wanting to leave. There was talk, obviously, about no one could afford him. And then Ten Hag's like, no, he's part of my plans. And now he's not part of the plans. He's playing a lot in Europa League. But it reminds me a lot of, like, the Gareth Bale thing, where he was just, like, trapped at Real Madrid forever because nobody could pay his wages. Like, the only good thing about this whole situation is I believe Ronaldo's contract is done at the end of this season. So he's a free man to walk at the end of the year. I don't think he'll wait that long, though.
Well, like, honestly, okay, so right now, United, Ronaldo won't be with United in their game against Chelsea on the weekend.
Yeah.
And right now, he's training. Like they said this morning, he's reporting to the U21 training.
He's essentially been suspended.
Like, which, you know what? I agree. There has to be consequences.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think this has to be done.
There has to be consequences 100%. I mean, you can't walk off the pitch and think it's like, no, you know, no problem, just because you're Cristiano Ronaldo. Exactly. But the last two guys, in my opinion, that should ever be in a position like this would be Ronaldo and Messi. And Ronaldo sitting in this position, do I think he can handle a lot of moments better? 100%. But I still think at the end of the day, you know, he's facing some really, really intense adversity that he's never had to face in his career. It's crazy to think, which could be his, like, one of his last times, like last seasons in
What
Premier
is he now?
League.
37, I think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 37.
Like, what if his next move is Major League Soccer? Which, again, no disrespect to the MLS, but what if he removes himself from that picture of Premier League, top 5 European leagues, Champions League picture altogether and is out? This would be such a shame.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would, because I think he loves the game too much, and he loves his legacy too much. And I think that's why he's so pissed off right now, is because he's not been able to bolster his United legacy and his Premier League legacy. Like, he wants to be a part of it. I'm assuming he wants to be a part of it. And that's why I think he'll try and find a Champions League club, because he wants to finish career as that like top Champions League scorer. And right now he's like not playing in the Premier League. He's not he's doing actually pretty good in the Europa League. And meanwhile, Messi's in the Champions League scoring goals, winning games, and Ronaldo's seeing that, and he's like, what the hell?
100%.
Yeah. And what was he? Sorry, what was he in Ballon d'Or on, like 22nd or something like that? Like, he's not gonna like that.
No,
you know?
and I know that he's 37, and everyone's like, oh, he's old, he's finished. But I mean, I really think that he still can like compete. I don't think 37 is the end of the world. I mean, how old's Tom Brady? I know this is a completely
46.
Tom Brady's 46, man. The guy's still kicking. I don't think it's the end of the world. Just last year, he had a good season with United. He was scoring goals for United. He was helping United. What drastically happened in a year? He hasn't been injured. He still has the same, you know, staff that's helping him get fit, that's putting him in game shape, that's, you know, working on his skill set. I don't think so much has changed. I just think that the adversity he's facing this season, and unfortunately him and Ten Hag just clearly don't like each other. And his reactions, Ten Hag's reactions, it's making it so dramatic for media, which is, you know, a dream for us. Unfortunately for them, a complete nightmare. It's just all messy, and I really hope Ronaldo stays in Europe, and I really hope that he kind of has this like one last comeback season.
Yeah. Maybe we should do something on that one day. Just like, where could he go?
Think about, and also think about, like, we talk about legacy. Imagine this shitty season from hell for him, and then he comes back and
a little redemption arc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say, man, he couldn't have ended it any better.
You just want to see these guys go out on a high.
Always.
Like, it's another football reference, I suppose, but like Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
He was absolutely horrendous in his last season of NFL, and he's not remembered like that. But at the moment, you're like, this sucks to see. And now you don't want to see it with Ronaldo or Messi. Like, even last season, like, Messi obviously wasn't a Ballon d'Or winner. What is he, 3 years younger than Ronaldo, I think? Whatever. Yeah. Like, these guys are coming to the end. You just want to see him go out on a high.
100%.
And it's not even about Ronaldo scoring 30 goals a season. It's about him just being a key figure in the team. Now, if Ronaldo was coming off the bench every game and contributing, playing 30, 45 minutes a game, whatever it was, and like being a part of this team, I think this would be a completely different situation. But the reality is he's coming off the bench and playing like 10 minutes.
That's what's tough. And you know what? Anyone who's played the game knows that in 10 minutes, you might not see the ball.
Yeah.
Like, you might have one touch on the ball. And unless you're Erling Haaland, you know, who scores, who has one touch and one goal, like, you know.
It's different, yeah.
So I don't know. I feel for him. At the same time, by any means, I don't defend what he did. But I think if I were in his shoes, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a weird one because, like you said, like, I don't defend him at all. I think it's actually a really, really bad luck.
Yeah, it's not great.
But there's a lot of layers to this conversation that Yeah, I think maybe both parties are in the wrong, I suppose, like you suggested as well. But I also think it's important for Ten Hag to come in and lay down his groundwork. And to Ten Hag's credit, it's kind of working. They're fifth in the Premier League. They're looking like the first 2 games were horrendous. But besides that, they've only lost to City. And my Newcastle boys, they drew. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. You know what? I agree. Ten Hag's doing, he's finally, the scary start that United have. We weren't blaming Ten Hag, and now here he is beating, some of the top teams in the Premier League. I just wish he could find a way, as a manager to win those games, but also, keep the chaos at a low. That's what I love about Klopp. Klopp doesn't throw his players on the bus. I mean, now Ten Hag's saying, oh, Ronaldo refused to come onto the pitch. I don't necessarily love that. Like, in that moment, the managers that I love are always they're the bigger person. And I just feel like Ten Hag feels this defensive alpha nature. Like, I need to protect myself, and this is why that happened. And Ronaldo's doing the exact same thing, and now you have an explosion.
There's also the Bayern Munich manager. We all know I'm not very good with names, so I'm not going to try and attempt it. But a lot of the players, I was looking at things. So Bayern Munich's they're obviously a good team, but they've kind of been weird in Bundesliga this year.
Yeah,
By weird, I mean they've lost a game. So and apparently some of the players aren't necessarily happy at the way he talks about them in the media. And you wonder, like, how long do these guys survive for around here? And yeah, I wonder if Ten Hag's guards are up a little bit, because he's an established manager, but he's not a world-class manager, I guess. And now you're dealing with bigger personalities than you did at Ajax. And now it's about how you're going to handle these. And right now, this one doesn't seem good. I'm sure there's got to be something happening behind the scenes with conversations and stuff like that. But for now, we obviously won't see Ronaldo this weekend.
I know.
We'll probably see him in the Europa League. Actually, did you see the goalie that United played against the other day? So so the team name is Amanoia or something like that. They're from Cyprus.
Okay.
So their goalie, United won 1-0 in a 93rd minute. Scott McTominay. The goalie for this team made 13 saves. He was unreal. Like the save the goalie scored was like an outside the box, like really good goal. And in a post-game interview, he just had this massive smile on his face, and he was just like, I'm just so happy to be playing at Old Trafford. He's like, this is just like a dream come true. And the fact that like we were able to push this team literally until like the last second of the game, it's like, it's an honor to like basically be here and perform like this. And he was just like, to me, it was cool because he just showed like the love of the game, which I think sometimes is missed when you see these, like the stuff like Ronaldo walking off the field, for example. It's like sometimes you just love to see that love.
100%.
And it's great to say. I wish I could pronounce the names, but I can't.
We've said this with Mbappe too in the past. No one's bigger than the club. That's why I had a hard time with PSG giving Mbappe ownership. And I do think Ronaldo and Mbappe are in two completely different stratospheres. Mbappe has a lot to do to get on Ronaldo's level, but at the end of the day, no player is bigger than the team, bigger than the club. And that's just this unsaid, unwritten rule in football where that respect has to be there. I just feel like Ronaldo might be feeling disrespected. Ten Hag's feeling disrespected. I don't think that was Ronaldo, taking all of his frustration out on United, even though it looked that way. And he should be, aware enough to understand that that's optically how it's going to look. I think that was a dig at Ten Hag. And I just think that this is a Ten Hag Ronaldo thing. And unfortunately for Ronaldo, it's now become a United scenario. And that is on Ronaldo, because at the age of 37, with his maturity and again his experience, he needs to understand that's not the way to handle this.
Yeah, he needs to be a leader on this team. Yeah. Another guy on the team who we spoke about sitting on the bench, Casemiro, quickly. Yeah, he's unreal. I know. He was so good. That's why he needs to play for United. But sometimes I guess like you can't just throw a guy on the field. You probably could with Casemiro because he's that good, but maybe sometimes the reason Ten Hag kept him off is like, I just want him to make sure he knows where guys are going to be, like chemistry, that kind of stuff. And then you see it. What's he been there now? Probably just a month-ish, maybe 2 months. And now it's like seeing him at his best. And now it's going to be a big part of this team. Champions League push. League title push.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I don't know if I'll go that far. I've already made my statement on Arsenal. So
I think Liverpool though is going to start climbing the ranks here in a second.
Yeah.
Let's go right into Liverpool. I know that's down on our list, but big win against City. We said in our last show that that big game against Rangers, I believe it was 7-1, Mo Salah getting that hat trick, 15 minutes on the pitch, manages to score 3 goals. They were knocking against a City team, one of the not only one of the best clubs in the Prem, like one of the best clubs in the world, and they did it at Anfield. And Virgil van Dijk played really well.
What was the thing about Van Dijk?
He's never lost a game for Liverpool at Anfield in his entire career.
Yeah,
what the hell? What kind of stat is that? That's actually incredible.
That is a nutty stat. I think it was in the high 60s or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like, yeah, that's
nuts.
That's nuts. And like, yeah, like we spoke about after that Rangers game, it's like if Liverpool can get a result against City, like maybe this is kind of the table start turning a little bit. And like, what a goal by Salah.
I know.
Oh, like big time players show up at big time moments. Like it's unreal. So now they're in 7th in the league. They're still 11 points behind Arsenal in 1st, but they're there, and that's what matters. Like they're making progress. They have Leeds next. Forest next, then Leeds, Tottenham, Southampton, Aston Villa, Leicester, Brentford. Like it's a good run for them to like now start getting some momentum. Obviously, Champions League games mixed in there, but whatever. But yeah, like
momentum's everything.
Here they come.
And like Salah, we know that this guy, he has the Premier League record for most goals in a season. Like we know he can turn it on. And I think that hat trick really got that monkey off his back.
Yeah.
And he tried a few times before he ended up scoring that goal against City to try and get it in the net. And I'm like, man, this guy's going to score today. He's hungry. Momentum is honestly everything in sports. Right now, Liverpool have it. They have, I think next week they play Ajax, which will be a big game for them in the Champions League. But they also could now be a contender in the Champions League, which I had completely written them off. Liverpool fans, I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But now I'm like, maybe they're the team right now that I probably have the most faith in, just because of the talent that they have despite injuries and the manager that they have to turn it around and maybe make a push. Maybe not win, but push and finish in a position where we all probably didn't expect at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting team they play too. Like Trent didn't play. Yeah. James Milner played right back.
Everyone said Van Dijk was much better when Trent was out of the lineup. So like, I don't know. Like,
it's, you know what, with the Trent thing, like maybe it's just not working there. Maybe you got to play him somewhere else. But either way, like Jota's a big loss for them.
Oh my God.
I know we have that in our thing too, but like that sucks. That really sucks. So he had just come back too.
Honest to God, I think he's one of the most talented players, but he has the worst luck with injuries.
Yeah, he has been a bit snake bitten. And yeah, this Liverpool team, now maybe this is it. Obviously, you go through waves throughout the season. And City, interesting. Like, you want to be these big dogs and everything like that. And they are, don't get me wrong. They're probably the best team in the league. But also, you got to get up for these games too and go and win. And you got to go and beat these big teams. And they've kind of had a few results this season that, they're obviously losing to Liverpool, but then they had the draw against Aston Villa. I'm trying to find the other one here too. The draw against Newcastle. Like, meanwhile, Arsenal are just winning every week.
I know.
And they just, obviously Arsenal's going to lose some more games. Like, they're not going to, well, maybe they will go undefeated. They lost one, but yeah, I don't know. City feel maybe a little bit too relaxed for me. It almost feels like, we'll just turn it on and we'll just go win a game.
You know what?
Teams are now kind of figuring it out. Not a lot, but like every now and then stuff's happening.
I could not agree with you more, because I feel like the only team in the world who does that and can ride off of that type of like game plan is Real Madrid. But they've earned that.
They've done it.
It's like their concrete like game plan. Okay, we're gonna start off, be patient, almost like we're not in it, but we're in it enough to like keep the score. But then we're gonna turn on, we're gonna annihilate this team, and when we turn on, there's no chance. City has some of the best talent I've seen. It's probably my favorite City team to watch. But they don't have that type of experience as a club yet. Yep. Like, this is like season 1 with this type of flow that they're having from top to bottom. So I don't know, like, that Pep left that game, especially against Klopp at Anfield, frustrated, and hopefully they're kind of regrouping, because they can't think that they've got it in the bag just yet, despite how good they are. The only team I think, and the crazy thing about Real Madrid, Liam, is I think that they have the ability to be like that, but they don't play like that. Like, they don't go into the game being like, we're going to sit. That's just how it happens for them. They know, like, they're smarter. That's why I think Real Madrid all encompassing is the best team in the world.
It is like a natural progression for Real Madrid. Almost.
Exactly.
Like,
Perfect.
City are just going to get on top of you early, and it feels like right now, if they're not kind of scoring like right away, then maybe that's kind of maybe it's not going to go their day, and they're just not a perfect team. And now they have who do they got next year? Arsenal was postponed, so they have Brighton, Leicester, Fulham, Brentford, Leeds up until Christmas. So I guess Leeds will be after the World Cup. So wow, there's only 3-4 Premier League games before the World Cup. That's nuts. It's sneaking up. It's sneaking up.
It's coming quickly.
So they'll be fine. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend the City aren't going to probably challenge for the league. Like, they definitely will be there all season. But, you know, they're not the best team in the league right now. Arsenal is. They're in first for a reason. They're winning games. They're doing a lot of good things, and I will stand by my point at the end of the season.
You think, as you should, and you should be super proud of that in your Barcelona take. You think Arteta dyes his hair? Or do you think that's you think that's his natural flow?
I don't know. How old is he? He's not that old. That's a good question.
Every time I see him, I'm like,
he has always looked like that. He's only 40. Maybe. Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a tad.
I wonder, because it's so jet black, and I'm like, I wonder if he dyes it. I mean, no disrespect to him if he does. I just always am curious when I see him.
Yeah. I mean, it's something I haven't thought about.
Let us know in the comments if you think Arteta dyes his hair black. Okay, quickly, our last point right now in the Premier League. Steven Gerrard is sacked as Aston Villa's manager after losing to Fulham 3-0 the other day. Man, I'm going to make my point short and sweet, Liam, because out of complete respect for Steven Gerrard, someone who I wouldn't say I idolize him as a player, but I freaking loved him. I do sometimes think managers need more time. I don't know if Steven Gerrard is the right fit for Aston Villa. So for that reason, I don't hate this decision. But I don't like, what I will say, I don't like how Aston Villa fans are like disrespecting Steven Gerrard. They're like, get the hell out of our club. I don't like that. I mean, I think you also have to remember who this guy is and what he's done, you know, for the game. So I think that matters. I don't think he's the right person for Aston Villa's job. Maybe he needed more time, but I don't hate the decision to kind of make that change right now.
Yeah, so I guess somebody commented on one of our videos that I made about Gerrard saying, like, I don't think this is the time yet. And they said apparently he talks a lot of smack about the team.
Just Steven Gerrard?
Yeah, like, I can't remember exactly what this person said, but they were like, just the way he doesn't feel connected to the fans is kind of the point the person was making. So ever since that happened, I've kind of wondered how long it would be. I can't remember if it was on TikTok or YouTube. I can't remember which one it was, but either way, he's gone now. And do you remember a few shows ago, I said, I was like, okay, you can't judge him on these next 3 games, which was West Ham, Arsenal, and Villa.
Yeah, I remember that.
And City. So they lost to West Ham, they lost to Arsenal, but put in a good performance, and they drew to City. So that was that. And then I said, okay, these next 3 games are kind of when you need to. It was 4, but one of them got suspended, the Leicester game for the Queen stuff. So I said those next 4 games will be when you can judge Gerrard. So they got a win against Southampton. They drew against Leeds, who had 10 men, and they drew against Nottingham Forest, and then they just went on to lose against Chelsea and Fulham. I think this was fair. I think this was very justified. Yeah. They had a softer schedule, and you know what? When you're getting results like that against City, yes, you got one good result after, but you've got to build momentum from that. Like, Leeds' red card came in the 48th minute. You had 19 shots on goal, and you couldn't score once. Like, this is a very, very talented team. Very talented. There's a lot of international players on this team. Like, Ollie Watkins might go to the World Cup for England. Coutinho, like, John McGinn's a good player too. Douglas Luiz, Ramsey, Bailey. The list is honestly endless. Like, so many good players. And yet, here they are. What are they? 16th in the Premier League or something like that? Let me pull it up here quickly. 17th in the Premier League with 7 goals this season. That is... They're the second lowest scoring team in the league. That is absolutely horrendous. And Gerrard, you sometimes just got to take your blows, you know, and he did a great job with Rangers. There's no denying that. He helped rebuild that team and put them right up there as one of they won the Scottish Premier League, and now they're in Europe, and they succeeded, and that was because of him. Like, he played a massive role in that. And I think that's what obviously a lot of people were expecting when he came to Villa. Didn't happen. Spent a ton of money, and now here they are, 17th with 2 wins and 11 games and 7 goals for. It's not good enough with this team.
When you're so close to being relegated or being in the relegation zone, and you have, like you said, Liam, to your point, that much talent on your squad, you can't blame the decision by the club to do what they did.
No, I completely agree. And you look at the teams around them, Wolves just sacked their manager. They're probably going to gain some momentum here as well. Like, Everton was supposed to be in this area. Leeds was fighting against relegation last year. Leicester's not where they're supposed to be. And then you have Nottingham Forest, a newly promoted team. Like, Aston Villa shouldn't be in this group. They should be fighting for mid-table at the worst. And like, this team is probably good enough on paper to be pushing for like a Europa League, Europa Conference League spot. And yeah, they're just not succeeding. And I haven't really looked in who could be the next manager. There's talk about Mick Beale, who was the assistant manager with Villa last season, who's now at QPR, who's doing really well in the championship. He was just linked with the Wolves job after they sacked Bruno Lage, and he said no.
Okay.
So I wonder if he would go to Villa and retake over that job. But I'm not sure if he wants to leave QPR, but I think that'd be a good name for them. And then I'm sure there's a bunch of other people out there, but they got to push up the table.
What's Tuchel doing right now? Has anyone like offered him a job?
No, that'd be something.
That would be something.
But again, Chelsea couldn't score goals.
I know.
And this team can't score goals. Maybe that's not the perfect recipe, but like, I don't know if he would take a Villa job. That'd be interesting if he wants to just like get back in the Premier League. Like, there's your vacancy, right? That Villa is a big club in England. Like, when I actually went back, I drove past Villa Park.
Oh yeah,
looks pretty cool from the motorway. It was quite a distance, but I saw it, and yeah, the Villa's got to be better. They're a big club.
Mm-hmm. With some hardcore fans.
And
clearly
got to be better.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, quickly, we'll get into the Ballon d'Or because I feel like like I said, the week that I was gone and we couldn't fit in 2 episodes, like everything happens. But the Ballon d'Or, which to me, you know, we've been waiting for it to happen for so long. Like, we have to talk about it on this episode. Benzema, our guy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we said we wanted him to win. He finally won it. We've talked about it multiple times on this show. He's had a clinical last season, obviously, in La Liga and then in the Champions League. No one deserves it more than him. And this is the craziest stat. He was, aside from, like, so Benzema and Modric are the only 2 players not named Messi or Ronaldo to win the Ballon d'Or since 2008.
Did you see, actually, I can't remember the exact year it was, but it was like Real Madrid signed Kaká, Ronaldo, and Benzema in the same year, and all 3 of them won Ballon d'Ors. And then they had also done it a few years before that when they had Figo, Ronaldo, and Cannavaro, and they're the only team in the world to ever have 3 Ballon d'Or winners on the team twice.
Wow. Wait, no, wasn't this Benzema's first Ballon d'Or win?
3 players who had won the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, okay, yeah, get it.
So it was just like obviously when you can just buy the best players in the world, it probably
right?
is going to happen. But
Real Madrid problems.
It's crazy that they had done it twice. But yeah, Benzema, I mean, if he didn't win, then are we ever going to respect this award? Like,
no.
So they changed it all now, right? Like, it used to be based off like a year thing. Now it's based off the season, which is how it should have always been. Like, that just seems like the logical thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, rightfully so. And it's funny sometimes when you see these players off the field, like, you obviously know what they look like, but I just didn't expect him to wear glasses.
Yeah, because I think he was paying like homage to Tupac.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's this whole thing that he had, like, Tupac had this, like, hold on, I'll pull it up for you, Liam. Benzema, Tupac.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you forget these guys live real lives. Oh, yeah.
I think, he paid tribute to Tupac.
Interesting.
That's what everyone was saying. But what I love about this is it, like, painted a cool, deeper picture in the football community, you could say, I guess, that Benzema's 34 years old. We're watching his best year of football in his oldest age. And it kind of gives that hope for players who maybe aren't where they want to be in their career to like still keep doing what they're doing, keep with the talent, keep with the grind. And then, maybe even when you're in your later years, you can still achieve an award that typically is usually only won by Messi and Ronaldo. And I think that's a really, really cool picture. And we always say on this show, we wish that we had more years of Benzema under this level of Benzema.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we still continue to get them before he retires, and who knows when that will be. But I really like kind of this I don't know, this new wave he's created, and no one was more deserving than Benzema last season.
Yeah, it's funny because you always think of someone's prime of their career being probably like 26 to 31, somewhere in there, maybe even smaller for some guys, and now you're seeing these players who are obviously, some guys are still thriving in the mid-20s, but like you're seeing guys now like still being able to elevate their games at an older age. Like Ronaldo had 18 goals last season. Like Messi's 34 and had 14 assists in the league. Like now you have Benzema. I can't remember how many goals he had. It felt like every game you watched him, he scored a goal. And
it was nuts.
He was, and Lewandowski too. Like holy moly, it's just shows the level of technology in football now that these guys are able to just play at such an advanced stage. And do you know what though? The Ballon d'Or, it's always something that really sneaks up on me. Like, oh yeah, this is happening now.
I know, right? I know.
So Sadio Mane second.
I know.
How do you feel about that?
I love Sadio Mane, so I don't mind him being second. I think Sadio Mane is one of those players because he's not a Ronaldo or a Messi or even like in the limelight like a Benzema or Salah. Like you often discredit the work that he does unintentionally. I don't think it's intentionally done. It's just unintentionally because he's just that guy that makes it happen. He's not always in the limelight, in the spotlight. But for once, it's good to see a footballer who maybe isn't in that role being given the respect and recognition that he deserves. So I love that for Mane.
Yeah, it is funny, and you've mentioned it on the show too, like the lack of disrespect, I guess, in a way that like Liverpool fans seem to have just forgot that the second best player in the world right now is just left their team and expect to just excel. And it is quite funny that he got voted ahead of Salah, who is also obviously a phenomenal football player, but it's like didn't expect to see Mane that high, I suppose, and maybe that's just my bad. But
no,
it's just kind of like, oh yeah, like he is really, really good, and it's good to see him get that respect. But I did expect like the top three to be like Benzema, De Bruyne, and Lewandowski, but then like Mane snuck in. Pretty good Premier League representation though. Mane 2, De Bruyne 3, Salah 5. Son, which is funny, 11. Son couldn't get into the Premier League Team of the Year by leading the league in goals with no penalties scored, and now he's an 11th in Ballon d'Or voting.
Yes, okay, you know what?
That is crazy.
I think, like we always talk about the Ballon d'Or, most prestigious award, but this stuff does not make sense to me.
No.
That's why I've said before, and I gave my take on Messi. Until this day, I get absolutely ripped online for it. It loses its prestige when shit like that happens because it does not make sense. And for everyone who's like, oh, the Ballon d'Or is not just about goal scoring. Anyone who watches Son play knows that he gives so much more than just his goal scoring abilities. Yep. And he just seems like the most wholesome human being. Yep. Like I just want to be friends with him, So I don't know. And like we go into the Copa trophy and the best and the Golden Boy trophy. We know, I swear Barcelona runs the Ballon d'Or awards. Like Gavi won both the Copa and the Golden Boy award. And I'm sure, yes, he's a great footballer and he's going to be an unbelievable footballer in the years to come. But Jude Bellingham was not only robbed, but like, honest to God, I think he was disrespected. So he should, so the Copa trophy, he finished 4th in those rankings. Yeah. Not even top 3. And then obviously not winning, the best player under the age of 21. He finished last season with Dortmund, 6 goals, 14 assists in 44 appearances. And then, of course, at the age of 19, you can speak to this, Liam, has established himself as one of the best players on Dortmund, but also on this English national team.
He's going to probably play in the World Cup
as
a starting player.
He's so good. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, who the hell is making these decisions? Are we watching the same football matches? And this is where this whole award ceremony, sometimes I'm like, it's a bunch of politics and people aren't giving the awards to the players who deserve it most. Because for Jude Bellingham to walk away and not have the Copa trophy and the Golden Boy trophy, I don't like it. And nothing against Gavi. Barcelona fans, don't come for me. But you guys low-key secretly run the award ceremony.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of pressure on Bellingham, and I think when you compare that to the other guys, like you said, Gavi and Camavinga, like they're a little bit more sheltered at their teams, I guess you could say, and like obviously they're going to be unreal, already are, but like the play runs through Bellingham. Bellingham is almost the heartbeat of that Dortmund team, and he is more now than he was last season, I suppose, because obviously they had Haaland, but still, like Bellingham played 32 Bundesliga games last season and started every single one. Camavinga played 26 La Liga games, started in 13, finished second. And then Gavi, played 28. But it's like, yeah, it just sometimes it's either words, like you said, it's like, you gotta be real. Like, you gotta actually look at this and be like, yeah, this probably is wrong.
You know what? Give Gavi one and give Bellingham the other. You know what? If you honestly want to go there, give Gavi the Copa and give Bellingham the Golden Boy. Why does Gavi get both?
Yeah, I also thought Saka could have been a little higher on the list.
Honestly, I agree.
What was he? Arsenal's Player of the Year and England's Player of the Year, which is kind of funny too. Like, he was England's Player of the Year, and Bellingham finished fourth in this thing as well. And it's just like, sometimes you watch these things, how does this even work out?
He didn't even make the top 3. I mean, it's just, it doesn't sit well with me. And even now this season, 4 goals in 4 Champions League games. Yeah. This guy's doing it with his national team. He's doing it in Champions League soccer or football. He's doing it in, his club, in his club games. Like, this guy's just at the age of 19.
Yeah.
I think that's what's the most impressive to me, is that he's able to establish himself and get the ball rolling at 19, which is not an easy thing to do. But
did you ever hear the story of how he ended up at Dortmund?
No.
So he was at Birmingham City. He was in the Championship, or still is, and they were going through some tough times financially. So he never wanted to leave, but Dortmund came in and were like, we'll pay you this much, and it basically saved the club.
Wow. Like,
his transfer money saved the club. And he was like crying in the field, in the middle of the pitch and stuff, because he didn't want to go, and he was only 17. And they retired his number. So there's very few players that have the numbers retired, like Bobby Moore, Maldini. There's like basically named like an absolute legend for a club. Like, I think Totti might be one as well for Roma. And then there's Jude Bellingham, and everyone was like, oh, like, how could this be? Like, he's only 17. He only played like 50 games, maybe not even that. And then the story came out. I was like, yeah, his transfer fee like saved this team from going into administration and going out of existence, essentially.
Dude, you need to clip that, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He's like, that's to have like, he's a young guy, to have the emotional intelligence and like the heart to do that.
Yeah, so
is what will set him apart.
So his brother plays there now, and he always talked Joe Bellingham. His name is. I don't think he's quite as good, but maybe we can hope. 41 games for Birmingham, 4 games played. 4 goals, and yeah, now just a legend at the team. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be a legend of the game. He's unreal. So yeah, long live Jude Bellingham.
England has such talented players going to the World Cup. Hopefully Jude does go to the World Cup. But you guys, your pool, if you don't do well, it will be, to me, maybe one of the most disappointing runs, because the talent in your guys' pool is not normal. Yeah,
it's a good group. We're going to be without Reece James, which is a massive blow. That's going to suck. And you know what the other thing is too? Like, we're known to have all these right backs. So right now, Kyle Walker and Trent are both hurt as well. They should be fit, but they're not playing. And that's not good. Like, Kieran Trippier, I think, is going to play a massive role in this England team. Mostly because we might not have another choice. Like, he might be it. So hopefully Trent and Kyle Walker come back and play a couple of games before. I don't know what the timeline is. Apparently they're going to be fine. Yeah. So, but the Reece James one is a massive blow. And
quickly on that, just guys, because we have to get into our power rankings, but the players that are coming to light that are injured and might or will miss or might miss the World Cup, it's so sad. Like, we know Jota, Conte, and Reece James are out, and Dybala, Pogba, Royce are all expected to miss the World Cup. We even saw Alphonso Davies have that skull
but
concussion.
He played.
He ended up playing. He's back. But just like seeing all of these injuries happen right before the biggest tournament of their lives, because they're playing club football. Some of them are playing Champions League football and international duties. I mean, their bodies, like, I can't imagine what their bodies are going through. And like Reece James, when I saw that, and even Conte, my heart broke.
Yeah, I swear, the Conte one was crushing.
Crushing.
It's like,
it's just horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's a tough one, but hopefully that just gives someone else a chance to thrive and
Yeah.
take the next role and being the next star in this
This is
world
true.
of football.
Quickly before we go into our power rankings, do you believe in the Drake curse, and is that why Barcelona lost to Real Madrid?
Thriving. Yes, the Drake curse is alive and well. I
I
thought
love
as
it.
soon as it happened, I was like, oh man, this couldn't be worse. This could not be worse. So the Drake it's funny. It's unbelievable, to be honest, is what it is. So I doubt I'll wear them again.
Drake, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Love your music, but the Drake curse is real. And I swear, as soon as he posted that Instagram and I see the OVO owl on Barca's jersey, I said it's a 100% loss. And he put some heavy money.
He did.
on the game. And I'm like, Drake, do you know of the Drake curse?
Yeah.
Which was crazy, but that's the only reasoning I could find as to why Barcelona clearly left Benzema and Valverde unmarked at the top of the box, because how they left Benzema unmarked and then like, hey, we didn't learn our lesson. Now there's Valverde, who's one of the best players on the team, and can absolutely snipe the ball from anywhere. We're going to leave him unmarked as well. Like, there's no other reasoning behind that aside from the Drake curse.
That's it.
It's the Drake curse.
And that'll end that conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drake. Sorry, Barcelona.
That's the way it is. Okay.
Next week.
Power rankings presented by Uber One. We got France and Croatia up on our list today.
List.
Yeah. France. Okay, France. What do I have France at? I put France at third because they have let's pull up their roster.
Everyone. They have everything they want.
My
which
God.
I think could be a curse for them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So Benzema, Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba, Giroud, Conte, sad, never mind. Tchouameni, Camavinga, the list goes on. I do believe in this whole theory that sometimes when you have too many superstars on one team, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to sleep on France. The one thing I get a little worried about is egos, and I'm talking about one player in particular. I hope Mbappe, kind of just calms down and realizes, he could potentially win back-to-back World Cups, and this is a whole team thing. But I think that they could still do well. I know that they haven't had the best run in the Nations
League.
League.
Great.
But the World Cup's a completely different ballgame, so I don't want to, put disrespect on that team. I still think that they're extremely talented. I would not be surprised if they won. I would not be surprised if they didn't win.
Yeah, I think with the Nations League thing too, the more I've thought about it, I don't think this is the case for England, but for other teams, I think and France is one of these teams, I think they experimented a little bit more. I don't think they put too much stock into how they were doing with the World Cup coming up. And with France, there's so many good players that I think they were just mixing and matching a lot and trying to figure out what is going to work for them. And I think when the World Cup comes around, I think they'll be one of the best teams there. Yeah. I have them at number 3.
Oh, nice.
I think they're the best European team going. I think the fact they won the World Cup with a lot of the similar players is huge. Yes, they didn't do as well as they wanted to at the Euros, but that's a different beast, I think. Conte is going to be a big miss. Pogba should be fit and ready to go, but if he's not, then you're missing your 2 starting center midfielders from the last time you won the World Cup, who are both world-class players still. Camavinga and Tchouameni, I think if that's your 1-2 punch in the midfield, will be fine gradually, but to start the tournament, I think it could be a struggle. Just, you know what, these 2 guys, I said it the other week when they played Denmark, they're 2 great players, and they're going to be amazing. But when you go up against more experienced midfields, especially when you play these European teams, these guys don't care how good you're going to be. They're going to do whatever they can to beat you right now. There's going to be no respect. So I think France will be fine. I have them at number 3 right now. The Conte thing does knock them down a few pegs for me, but I still think overall they're better than Spain, England, Belgium, Germany, whoever else you want to throw in there.
I would love to see Benzema win the Golden Boot at this World Cup. Imagine he wins the Ballon d'Or and the Golden Boot in the same year.
Be special.
It would be special.
And the Champions League.
And the Champions League and La Liga. I think that maybe that'll be my take right now. I think Benzema, if France win the World Cup, I have Benzema having the Golden Boot and having the most unbelievable year of his career, which I think is doable. So we'll see how France does. And up next, Croatia. I have them at 12th.
Yeah.
And I have them at 12th because I think they're a very talented squad led by Modric. I just also think that they are a team that is beatable if their opposition knows how to play them. I think that when we think about Canada, this could be the turning point for Canada when it's Canada-Croatia. If they're able to find the right way to play against this Croatian team, I think they can come out with a tie or a result that they're happy with. With saying that, I put a lot of respect on them too. They are very, very talented, but beatable, in my opinion.
I like that opinion. I think they are a very, very good team, and they deserve to be respected. I have them at 10.
Nice.
Which is one above Portugal, which we spoke about last week.
Okay.
I do think the Modric factor is a big thing. It's an experienced team that went to a World Cup final only, the last one, 4 years ago. I don't think they're as talented as they have been in the past, but they still have a lot of good players, and there's not a lot. They're going to be a hard team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think Canada would have over them is pace going forward.
I agree.
And I think they're kind of similar to Canada in a way that like their strengths are obvious and their weaknesses are obvious. And I think a weakness is they're not going to be as good defensively as they have been in the past. And maybe that's how teams like Canada can expose them. Belgium, obviously, with De Bruyne, Lukaku, Hazard, and even like Morocco, to their credit, like Hakim Ziyech is a great player for Chelsea as well. And like maybe they're the top European team that doesn't do as well as they should. They're probably, them and Portugal for me are the two teams that I could see slipping up the most.
I would love to see Canada come out against Croatia and just press.
Yeah.
Like, you know how sometimes you're like, okay, we have to respect the opposition. You see a lot of these managers and teams like park the bus and play the counter, which I understand. Sometimes that's something you have to do. Yeah. And that's the game plan and you stick to it. It's not the best football to watch, but sometimes it's the best strategy. I'd love to see Canada come out against this Croatia team and take it to them. Like, have them on their on their heels. I'm so into it. Have them on their heels the entire game and just see what Alphonso Davies can do with his pace. Yeah. Jonathan David, Kyle Larin, and put a couple goals in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna be what helps Canada succeed. So in Croatia's recent games, they beat Austria, they beat Denmark, they beat France.
Great teams too.
The last game they lost was against Austria, but besides that, they've been on a bit of a roll here, like kind of taking it to teams, and that's what worries me is like, are we underestimating them a little bit? I don't think necessarily underestimating is the right word, but there is a lot of talk out there about like, if Canada's going to beat one of these teams, it will be Croatia. And I just hope I said it, but like, I just hope the players aren't thinking like that. Like, obviously you want to win every game, but like, don't underestimate what Luka Modric can do to you.
100. It's crazy because I just checked Modric's age, 37. Same age as Cristiano Ronaldo.
And when did he win his Ballon d'Or? Like 4 years? Yeah, after the World Cup. So he was 33.
Yeah, and you know what? Crazy. Like, he hasn't skipped a beat, that guy.
No.
That's what scares. Belgium and Croatia have, to me, the two best midfielders in the world and two guys that have to absolutely need to be shut down. If Canada finds a way to do that, I agree with you. Don't underestimate, but also find a way to feel that confidence, like we can do this, that nice balance between let's respect our opponent and let's bring it to them. I think that Croatia's a game where they can have a result.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Hopefully it can. Shall we quickly dive into a couple of betting picks 100%.
That I have? Do your thing, Liam.
So this is something we're going to try and incorporate a little bit in, probably more the later episodes in the week. I think probably works well. So I'm just going to take us to Serie A. We like Serie A on this podcast. There's actually been quite a lot of surprising teams in Serie A this year. And I'm going to talk about both of them. I don't think anyone expected Atalanta to do what they did this season. A lot of people were talking about how they were the team that kind of fell off out of the top European teams. And now here they are, undefeated in 10 games, 7 wins, 3 draws, second in the Serie A. And somehow they're plus money to win this weekend against Lazio. Now, Lazio, obviously a very good team in themselves, only 3 points behind Atalanta, but Atalanta's the home team, and they're even money right now on Betway, so I'm going to take them. And I'm also going to take Udinese, who is another team who has kind of come out of nowhere and been great. Like last season, they were one of the weaker teams in the division, and now here they are coming up against Torino this weekend. I'm taking them too, plus 105 on the money line. Those games are both on Sunday. If you want to get up, one of them's at 4:30 in the morning. So good luck with that one. Let me know how it goes. I'll be up later on just to check it on my phone. But Serie A, really fun league, and I'm gonna make it funner for myself this weekend.
I just pulled up Udinese, and they lost to Monza 3-2. So now I want to see where Monza is on the table.
That was in the cup, though.
Okay.
It was in the cup. But yeah, Monza. Since they beat Juventus, they won 3 in a row.
I mean, it's the Juve effect. It's not working in favor of their club, but for everyone else.
Who do they play this weekend, actually? Juventus play Empoli. Empoli plus 700 on the money line. If you're feeling cheeky and you want to hit a team on the low.
I honestly, right? I'm going to love Juventus Benfica.
Yes, that'd be a big one.
Game.
We should see the best out of Juventus. We have to. If
they have no choice. They have no choice. And the best for Mustachio, our boy. All right, guys, this has been Kicked Back. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back next week with our normal schedule of episodes, right, Liam? Yeah.
I think so. Is it Champions League next week? I don't know.
We'll check. We'll check it out, guys, and thanks for watching. This has been Kicked Back, presented by Uber One.